I cannot believe that this is the recap for episodes 21 through 30, that 30 interviews are on the YouTube channel, 30 different stories, 30 different people, all with so many things in common. I know I've identified with something from every single story, and I know that the same is what I hear from people who have watched them. I started doing these interviews as a way to connect us all as human beings and realize that even though we seem different, we're all the same. We're all human beings, and we all deserve respect and understanding and empathy, and we all deserve not to be judged. I think that's extra important in light of everything that's going on in the world right now. We aired our first episode back in November, and I could never have foreseen that the things in the world would be the way they are today. It saddens me that there is still so much discrimination and hate, and we're all one world. We're all human beings, and again, we all deserve kindness and respect. So, without further ado, let me get to the recap of the episodes. Episode 21 was Junior's story. We didn't do this one via Facebook or via Instagram Live, so you couldn't really see my jaw dropping during everything that Junior was saying. I was blown away by his story. To have lived through Hurricane Katrina and had food airdropped, and that's the way he was getting his meals, and to pretty much beg someone to bring him out to California with them when they were leaving, and the welcome that he was met with when he got here. It was a really nice sense of community and amazing things to hear. I know that Junior's got an amazing family. He's got, I think he said 4 kids. He's an autism dad. His baby girl was just in one of Travis Scott's videos. So he's got a lot going on. He has a podcast. It's incredible. And I just learned that no matter what, perseverance is key, and getting through the obstacles and making your way is not always easy, but the things he was able to overcome made me feel like I could do anything. So I hope that if you haven't watched it yet, definitely go to the YouTube channel and check it out. Make sure to click like, make sure to subscribe. Those things help share these stories. The next interview that's up there is episode 22. This is James' story. I met James at an event that we had done at Dave & Buster's for the first 10 episodes, and he's actually a friend of Natasha's, who Natasha was in our first set of 10 interviews that went up on the YouTube channel. And James has an incredible story. He came to California for a acting competition, and it was an international competition in California. And he won it. And from there, he signed with different agencies, and they were trying to get him work, but he was still living back on the East Coast, and he just took a leap of faith and moved to California. So he's been living out his dream with definitely some ups and downs. If you haven't seen his story, if you haven't heard his story, definitely check it out. Again, another inspiration of what doesn't break you just makes you stronger. And he definitely had obstacles, but people showed him that they were there for him and helped him out when he needed it. So definitely check out his story. On to Noemi, episode 23. So episodes 23 and 24 were done pretty close together. They just happened to coincide with National Infertility Awareness Week, which was complete happenstance. So I like to think that some things are just meant to be for a reason. Noemi and I have known each other for I would say about 10 years maybe. We met at a mutual friend's wedding, and her husband Don and I were at the same table, and they're just the sweetest people. And recently Noemi had started sharing more about her IVF journey and the struggles that her and Don were having getting pregnant. And I reached out to her and asked her if she would want to do an interview and share her story, and she absolutely wanted to. She talks about the actual journey and how many times and different things that didn't take, and that when they had just all about given up, miracle baby girl happened. And Noemi and Dawn are due to have their baby in August, so I'm very excited for them. It just warms my heart seeing people's dreams come true. So again, if you haven't seen her story, definitely check it out. It's episode 23 on the YouTube channel. And then 24 is Jen. Jen is an incredible young woman. I know her through my fiance. She actually was one of the medical assistants in his office, and she had moved away with her husband, and he's in the military and they travel, and her mutual friend that still worked for him told him about her story, and he was like, I don't really know about that. And he's a doctor, so for him never to have heard of it was quite interesting. So when Jen shared her story with me, I learned so much, as I'm sure you will too if you log on to the YouTube channel and watch Jen's story, episode 24. Jen shares with me that she has a syndrome called MRKH. MRKH is a syndrome where women can be born without or with an underdeveloped uterus. I had no idea that this happened. Jen talks about being 14 and not getting her period like the rest of the girls, and so they discovered through doctor visits that she had MRKH and was told that she would never be able to have her own children. In her interview, she tells me that she was part of a study at Baylor where she underwent a uterus transplant and was able to have 2 healthy girls. The most recent baby was delivered in February of this year. So congratulations to Jen and her husband on their family. And if you watch the interview at the end, you'll get to meet her family. So yeah, again, it taught me that there are things that I have no idea exist in this world and struggles that people go through. So thank you very much for enlightening me about that syndrome. I had no idea whatsoever. So yeah, definitely check out her story. And then we move on to Chelly. Chelly's story was episode number 25. And Chelly is a fun lady. I've known Chelly for years just as an acquaintance, really playing poker. And then I had the opportunity to hear her speak on one of her wealth management conferences that she gives. And she talks about how not to take money so seriously. And in her interview, she talks about how she even came to being in finance. Chelly was an actress, and then she worked in an office and got promoted from there. So, hello, how's it going, Geekster? So then she goes from there and has this amazing career giving talks and being a motivational speaker, and she has her signature gold tennis shoes. So if you don't know about the tennis shoes, definitely check out Chelly's episode 25 on our YouTube channel, I Want to Know Your Story. We'll move on to Raven. Raven was interview number 26. I met Raven at a party during Grammy weekend in LA, and she was there from Atlanta for her news publication, Jagirl TV. So she does positive celebrity news. So all she reports out on is the positive things that celebrities are doing. And Raven and I were talking that night at the event that we met at, how that really aligned with the idea of this show, is highlighting the positive things that people are doing, even if they had to overcome something negative or a hurdle in order to get there. We never know the struggles that someone has been through, and it's nice to highlight the positive things and make them feel valued. And so I think it's really neat. There are so many things that these celebrities do, but the TMZs of the world and different news outlets like the shock and awe, and so we get more of the negative vibe, and we get more of the things that they think would make people tune in. I'd rather have the real story. I'd rather know about the human being. And sounds like the same with Geekster. I like anything positive news too. And It's I'm a person who likes to read anything kind of like true story. Those are the things I like to find out the real thing about people, the real things behind them, and then motivate them. So definitely check out Raven's story. She's super energetic, and if you haven't seen her haven't seen any of the things she reports out on, you can check her out. She's on Instagram too, at JaGirlTV. So number 27 is Jillian. I met Jillian at a birthday party of a mutual friend, I think quite a few years ago now, actually. I don't even remember. It was quite a few years ago. And we've stayed in touch via Facebook. We really haven't seen each other since. And one day, all this fantastic art pops up on her Facebook. And I messaged her. I had no idea that she was such a talented artist. And we got to talking, and I asked her if she would be interested in doing an interview. Jillian is a single mom. She's raised her son by herself since he was 2, and she has a history of acting and doing all of these amazing things, and now she's focusing solely on her art, and it is incredible. It's bright. It's the way she draws people, I think, was what drew me to it, because I don't know about you guys, but a stick figure is about as best I could do. But definitely check out Jillian's story. She is very lighthearted, very funny, and definitely opens up to us during her interview. And that was interview number 27 on the YouTube channel. Moving right along to episode number 28. 28 is Marte. I met Marte at the same music event that I met Junior. It was a magazine release party that Andrew was putting on for his Underground magazine. And if you roll back to one of the episodes between 10 and 20, Andrews is in there. If you just want to smile, go back and watch his interview. It's super fun. He's a great kid, and he has such ambition and is totally immersing himself in what his interests are as a journalist. But I met Marte at the party that he was throwing, and if you watch the beginning of Marte's interview, he's the first person to ever kind of flip the script and turn my question back on me. The first question I ask people is what they think other people's first impression of them is. So of course he said, well, what was your first impression of me? Well, honestly, my first impression of Marte was why I wanted to go talk to him. I saw him and I elbowed my fiance and I said, I want to know that guy's story. And he has this like mean mug, this very standoffish, very stone face personality about him when you walk by him. And I just thought there had to be more there. I was just so curious about him from that point. And so through some messaging back and forth, we were able to sit down. And if he isn't the nicest person, and I would never have known that if I just judged him by the way he was walking around and carrying himself at that event. If I had never approached him, I wouldn't know the wonderful human being that he is, and genuine and knowledgeable and goal-oriented. And he's so family-oriented. He talks in the interview how close he is to his mom and his brothers. And him and his brother have a clothing company together, and they do a podcast together in his brother's Dirty Gold Saturn. And he's a realtor, and it's just incredible. He loves to read books on personal growth. And like I said, definitely check out episode 28 on our YouTube channel. Marte will definitely bring a smile to your face. Episode 29 was Anthony's story. Anthony was in the military. Anthony also was kind of a local hero. He had a incident where he had the opportunity to save someone's life while he was at work. He saw someone when he had pulled up to make a delivery that was laying in a gutter with a gunshot wound, and so he helped kind of tie it off and get the proper people to the scene and stayed there until they got there. And I thought that was really commendable and really interesting. Anthony actually reached out to me directly through seeing these interviews and asked if he could share and talk to me. So I was very humbled and honored that he wanted to have a conversation. So definitely take a peek at episode 29 and thank Anthony again for his service. Last but not least is episode 30. on the YouTube channel. This is Sandra's story. I met Sandra just through going in and out of her office over the last few years, and she and I just talked, and I've met her daughter, and she told me about her first little girl that was born, and her daughter had neuroblastoma, pediatric cancer, and they battled at Children's Hospital for over 2 years, and unfortunately Sophia lost her battle with cancer at a very young age. But I learned so much about how a parent could possibly cope with that kind of event and that kind of journey. Sandra's episode has, if I remember correctly, over 130 views, and it's only been up since Wednesday. So I highly encourage you to check out her story, learn about Sophia, learn about the nonprofit that Sandra and Sophia's godparents started. It's called Sophia's Buddies, and they honor those who are fighting pediatric cancer and those who've lost their battle. And the other amazing thing that I learned in Sandra's interview is there's a program called Beads of Courage, and there are these strands of beads, and the beads symbolize each treatment. So definitely watch the episode, learn more about that, check out Beads of Courage, and I encourage you to watch all the episodes, watch all the interviews, identify with each person. Please reach out if you want to share your story, if you have an interview that you'd like to discuss. And don't worry, Geekster, you didn't miss yours. I discuss the episodes as we post them to our YouTube channel in blocks of 10. There's an episode that I did with Geekster who's watching this right now, and that episode was awesome too, but I don't want to give too much away because I haven't put it up on the YouTube channel. But definitely an inspirational human being who has so much to give and is so genuine. I believe the story is still in my IGTV if you want to check it out. But that story will be going up, I believe, in two more episodes. So this recap will be on the YouTube channel this Wednesday, and then in 2 weeks we'll be able to see Geekster's episode. So definitely tune in for that. And like I said, please share I Want to Know Your Story with your friends. Please share the stories that we do and the mission of why I do these interviews. I really do believe in a world with less judgment, more empathy, and understanding, and the only way we get there is by sharing one story at a time. I hope you all have a great day. Enjoy your weekend.